everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on Bog Radio with a very special guest today on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. And also, we're in association with 24 Flicks. He's a director, a writer, actor, that guy right there. Yeah, that guy. Known for Love Different in 2016, Catastasis, aka Crisis Call in 2015. He's the founder of the award-winning faith-based production company Sunset Friday, where he writes, produces, and directs feature films with an intent to creatively share positive messages. And also, he did Hope Lives a couple of years ago. Great film. And currently now, The Perfect Christmas coming out in theaters December 8th. With no further ado, please welcome my good friend, filmmaker Anthony Hackett. What's up,
Hey,
Anthony? How are you?
what's good? I do my own applause machine. There we go. Woo! That's an applause for that intro, man. Thanks. I'm on the Maurice Brown Show, man. If y'all don't know, this guy's been doing this thing for a while. He is grinding, and every episode is a treat. So thanks for allowing me to be on. Shout out to 24 Flicks, too. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. We had an opportunity. I had the pleasure of being in one of your films in 2016, Love Different, and we won the Audience Choice Award at the International Christian Film Festival in 2016, which was that's a festival that's founded by Marty Jean-Louis, and he also now has launched this radio station, Bog Radio. He's just a mover and shaker. And quite frankly and honestly, that festival could be like termed as the Christian Oscars. Would you not agree?
Absolutely, 100%. One of the best for sure, by far.
I think this film that you have coming out now, as I referenced during the open, The Perfect Christmas, coming out December 8th with some good acting friends of ours in there, Cameron Arnett, Gigi Arcillo, Robert Amaya, to name a few. This is a film here. The maturation, the progress of advancement and movement that you've been making, my friend, is really starting to come full circle for you.
By the grace of God, and as you know how it is in this business, this industry, there's nothing guaranteed. There's nothing. One day you're doing great, the next day, nobody know who you are. So
Yeah.
it's a grind. You got to keep working. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep praying. And that's what I've been doing. For years, about 10 years now, just grinding, working, and trusting in God the whole time.
It's a beautiful thing to see. And you're one of the finest filmmakers out there that the world is getting ready to find out about. There's no doubt about that. I can tell you, I can feel it in my bones that it's coming. And as we talk about The Perfect Christmas, once again, ladies and gentlemen, coming out December 8th, tell us, Anthony, about this journey in producing this particular film and getting distribution.
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, The Perfect Christmas in theaters December 8th this year. Make sure you're there to check it out. Opening weekend too. Don't play games, okay? Opening weekend, be there. Because one thing people don't get, Maurice, is that with independent films specifically, like, for example, let's say there's a Marvel film coming out, right? You'll look at the thing and you say, yeah, man, I'll go next week, because I don't know if I feel like going this week. I'll just go next week because it's going to be in theaters next week. With independent films and with The Perfect Christmas involved with that as well, there is no next week unless there's a great opening weekend. So we have to get people out there opening weekend, or there will be no next week. So please come December 8th weekend. So the film itself, as far as just the brief thing on the making of it, my main purpose or my main focus when doing the film was not distribution. And I know, some people actually, they tell you, think about distribution even before you write the script. Think about distribution because that's going to all play in. And that's actually great advice. However, for me, my focus was just making a great film. Like making a movie that first of all, that God told me to make. And then second, that was just put the best we can. And God blessed me with a great team, an amazing DP, Ron, an amazing co-director, and Mark. an amazing assistant director and Danny and a whole bunch of, I can name everybody, but a great crew. And of course, my wife. You know how it is, Maurice.
You got to mention your wife, no doubt.
Man, I'm nothing without her, man. So with that being said, put that team together. We made a great film, and then came distribution. And I preface this whole thing because, you know, when the opportunity comes, you have to be ready for it.
Yeah.
And when this opportunity came to get a theatrical distribution, we were ready because we had a great film to show. And that's where all of the focus was. You know, prayed up, worked it, and God did the rest. And specifically what happened was with that to get the distribution. So our distributor, he was able to get the film to a major streaming platform, and I can't say who yet because we haven't released that, but a major streaming platform, and they love the film, they accepted the film. However, one of the terms for that is they want to make sure there's a theatrical release on the film. So I'm like, so what we gonna do about that? I ain't got no theatrical release going on. And so, you know, I prayed on it, and my distributor reached out to a film buyer, a friend of his, and then he kind of shopped it to Regal, and Regal Cinemas is the one who offered us a exclusive nationwide theatrical release through Regal Cinemas based off of what they presented to them. So that's what happened, man. It's just the grace of God.
Man, what an amazing story. I like what you said too about being ready. You know, we oftentimes talk about wanting to do something, wanting to get your shot, and you're not ready.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And not doing your homework and being prepared like it's going to happen. You have to prepare like it's going to happen tomorrow. And
Absolutely.
that's something that's really really difficult to pull off, and you did that, and that's how it works for the great ones. I mean, when it's your time, are you ready to do this? And clearly you are, and I can't wait to see the film as we talk about the perfect Christmas and how it came together and the funding, the distribution. Tell us about the film itself. What is it all about?
Yeah, so it is a family Christmas comedy, obviously with a faith-based foundation to it. It is a fun film. It's about a family called the Perfects, and the perfect, you know, hence the name, the Perfect Christmas. So it's about this family called the Perfects, and kind of just their crazy adventurous Christmas Eve day leading up to Christmas, and the father's attempt at just, you know, working to try to make a great Christmas for his family. So it's really really great. As you mentioned, some of the stars in there: Cameron Arnett, Gigi, Robert Amaya. But also beyond that, just another great cast. Our other co-actors, Jasmine Queen, who plays the wife, Denise Perfect, Jaden Kelson, who plays the son, Devin Perfect, and then my daughter, Maurice Amira, Mimi Hackett, is playing the role of Michelle Perfect. So it's a great family-friendly film. Great for the holidays, great for the whole family from 0 to 100 years old, doesn't matter. And it's fun and a great message attached to it as well. So it's great.
And I wanted to show the video of your daughter watching the trailer, but of course we're on radio, so I couldn't show that. But I thought it was I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a great concept of you showing, you know, different participants in the film's reaction to the trailer. I can't wait to see the trailer. When is the trailer going to drop, Anthony?
To be announced soon.
Okay.
So we're waiting on a few things before we drop it, but stay tuned. Just stay tuned. Stay locked into our Facebook page, The Perfect Christmas Movie. The Perfect Christmas on Facebook, or you can just go to our website, The Perfect Christmas Movie, and you can see all of those reaction videos you were talking about on that website, as well as updates on the release of the trailer and the movie.
So I was talking about Cameron Arnett. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show with actor, filmmaker, and director Anthony Hackett on Bog Radio in association with 24 Flicks. Anthony, I want to ask you about Cameron Arnett and Gigi Orsillo, two good friends of mine, and also Robert Amaya, whom I have not met, but I have seen him in Courageous and other projects, and he's a tremendous actor. What was it like working with that group?
Oh man, well each individual can take up a whole episode, Maurice. We ain't got enough time to talk about each individual one of those. But I'll just start
Yes.
with Cameron. So Cameron, man, he's a unofficial mentor of mine. Just I look up to him and his work and everything accomplished. But for I've known him now for many years. We've ran into each other off and on here and there, and we've always talked about working together. So when I reached out to him and his management about this project, they took a look at it and he graciously accepted. He's fantastic. He came set, professional, but also fun. He was engaging, interacting. He brought a character that you guys are going to love. No one has ever seen, Maurice, listen to this. No one has ever seen Cameron Arnett in this kind of a role in anything he's ever done, ever.
Wow.
And it's also a role that he has looked forward to playing because he gets to play a role in his native Haitian self.
Yes.
So
Oh, wow.
playing a Haitian father-in-law, and he's fantastic. He kills it. So he's fun. The interaction between him and the son-in-law is similar to that of Meet the Parents. Kind of that awkward yet funny moment between the two.
Yeah.
So it's really great, and I'm playing the son-in-law, so it's really fantastic. Gigi, man, she's a ball of energy. She came to set. She was just energy, 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 joy, joy,
Yeah.
joy. Fun. Talented, talented, talented. And what's great about her and really all of them is their ability to um, improv. And I know
Okay.
you're very much a student of the improv game, being a comedian yourself.
Yes.
Gigi was able to step in and just kind of flow off of me and flow off of each other. So she was fantastic. And then Robert Amaya, comedy. I know people know him, for many different roles. Largely, people see him in the comedic roles or stuff like that. But just getting to know him just a little bit. I spent a brief amount of time with him, but he's just a real down to earth guy. Obviously, I can say he's funny but you already know that. But more than that, he's a man of God. He's cool to be around, and he brought energy, he brought fun, and he brought his talent. So they were all great, all of them.
Well, they are tremendous, and I think when you really look at a guy like a Cameron Arnett, who is from Haiti, man, I cannot wait to see this side of Cameron,
Yeah,
because and I'm sure he did it flawlessly, because
perfect.
he doesn't have an accent. You don't even hear a hint of it when you're talking with Cameron.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see this. We had an opportunity in 2016 to do Love Different, and I had, and you talked about being able to kind of be versatile as an actor, and I am in this film as a serious character. Like there's no comedy on my part at all, and I think one of the things about the craft of comedy is it gives you the ability to kind of slip into different personas. But I enjoyed the opportunity. It was the first feature film that I had ever had the privilege and great blessing of being a part of, and that was a very good film. It was a comedy. I just wasn't funny at all, which is fine. Uh, but it was a good comedy, and it had a very central theme about a relationship with God. And I think everyone needs to go out and see that. I want to ask you a question or two about. I want to play the trailer from that film so people can hear and see and get an idea of what Love Different is all about. Just get an idea of what it's like. You're listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show with Anthony Hackett, director Anthony Hackett on Bog Radio. This is Love Different, the trailer, Love Different.
In the hood. All right, a bunch of black people end up going to an HBCU.
Well, I've never heard HBCU. Where's that located?
Hmm. Wow, I'm coming on the inside. Bit that, I'm on a bit that. Get it, get it, get it, get it.
I'm Lindsay.
Nice to meet you.
I'm gonna need you to spend a couple of days with Miss Lindsay here. Kind of get her acquainted with African American culture.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bah! Don't do that.
I guess you like your coffee black. All right.
Have you ever loved God?
Brandon, outside to the car. You're in a timeout, young man.
Time out.
Do all black people eat chicken?
Yes.
No, we don't.
Well, I love it. No, not all black people eat chicken, believe it or not. They just don't.
Nah, they don't. I mean, in fact, I'm vegetarian. Well, I'm pescatarian. I eat fish, but I don't eat chicken no more.
Well, I mean, I was stunned when I met some black vegans. But anyway, Anthony, I got to I got to tell you right now, I really love that film. But I think really it was such the kind of film where you look at race. By the way, Jen Gotzon played the lead actress in this film for you radio listeners out there. So you have a blonde woman that's joining an African American law firm, and the hilarity goes from there. And also the late Tommy Ford from the TV show Martin, the next door neighbor Tommy that never had a job. Tommy Ford in that film. Unfortunately, the late Tommy Ford had passed away in 2016. But that film was so good. I wanted to ask you a question since I have you here. Have you ever thought about making a sequel out of that film?
Good question. So first of all, you guys can actually check that film out. It is currently available on Tubi, on PureFlix, as well as Amazon Prime. And you can even go to our website, Sunset Friday, SONSET, sunsetfriday.com. Check all those videos out and more. But yeah, that film, it as far as the sequel of it, we 100% have thought about a sequel. Actually, I wrote a sequel. I wrote a sequel to it, and
was Mr. Harrington involved?
Mr. I can't tell you yet. You gotta wait until things pop off, and I can reach out to people. But no one knows about it except for Jen Gotzon herself and myself. We're the only ones who've known about it. But it's been it's just been kind of hovering right now. There's just other projects, and you got to get funding, and things just have to be the right timing and all of that stuff. So, but yes, thought about it, actually wrote a sequel, and it would actually get a revision if we did do it. But yeah, it's out there. Well, we'll see what God does.
I love it. I love it. We talked about the journey of bringing The Perfect Christmas to theaters. What advice can you give young people out there, or not necessarily young, just a filmmaker out there that's, struggling with budgets and funding and all of those types of things as far as getting their film out there? What kind of advice do you have for them?
Don't stop. at the end of the day, you're gonna get a lot of no's, more no's than yeses on everything. It's gonna be hard to get funding. It's gonna be hard to get people to dedicate projects. It's gonna be hard to write a script, produce a script. It's gonna be hard to get catering. It's gonna be hard to do everything. But so what? I mean, it's hard. It is what it is. The best things in life are usually the hardest things to do. So I would suggest, or my encouragement would be, if you are a person of faith, definitely step into the realm of God first. Allow him to lead your steps. I'm a man of faith, so that's where I start, is on my knees in prayer and talking to God, and I stay in tune with him, and he leads me to the right places and people. So all of my success comes because of the grace of God and favor of him. And then outside of that, it's work. And the Bible tells us that faith without works is dead, meaning it does not exist. Meaning when you say you have faith and you don't put in any work, you're lying. You don't have faith. It doesn't exist. The faith without works is dead. So you have to, along with that prayer time, you have to put in the work. And that is whatever you need to do. And it means don't stop. Don't stop calling. Don't stop doing whatever you got to do. Don't stop.
You know, we have limited time here, so I'm going to be very intentional with my questions as we wrap up. I had so many things I wanted to talk to you about, but one of the things that I definitely want to ask before we wrap things up is: are faith-based films, in your opinion, becoming edgier? And are you down the road planning on maybe exploring a more edgier subject matter in your future films?
Define edgier.
Cutting edge, something that may be close to risque, but not crossing any lines.
Okay. So I've definitely seen faith-based films that have, as you defined, edge. I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah,
They're out there.
yeah.
I've seen some that for some people cross their edge, because
Okay,
the edge is different for different people.
that's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah. So depending on where your edge tolerance is, there's different films to accommodate that. But there's plenty of films out there. What I would say about the state of filmmaking, Christian filmmaking today, even though this is kind of a little off topic, which you asked, but still kind of on it,
Yeah,
is just the fact that it's improving and it's here. Like
yeah,
I don't even, faith-based filmmaking, I guess, is no longer coming. It's no longer, it's here. Like it's great. Like
yeah.
there's films that are fantastic that are out in theaters, on major streaming platforms, even on YouTube. Like it's here. We here. We here. And because
Yeah.
we're here, that's a beautiful thing. So as far as the edge aspect of it, yes. But I'm personally, I just do whatever God says. I
Yeah.
don't I,
Yeah.
I don't know what, whatever his edge for me is, that's where I go.
Okay.
So yeah, I do what he says, and I've had success with that thus far, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Well, if there's anyone out there that could do it, and again, I would never advocate crossing lines, but I think if anyone as a faith-based filmmaker could do it and do it with class, it would be yourself. And I just would love to see you in a producing a film along those lines, because I think we're living in a society now where people who don't know who God is and how they got here, and they have questions about it, that are in some bad spots, living some difficult experiences, and they don't know what to do about it. They don't know how to get out of this prison that they may be in, and whatever they're involved in. And if someone would just kind of go there with them a little bit, because we definitely are not advocating, I think what Hollywood does is they enjoy showing unnecessary content, like totally irrelevant, like all of the stuff that you're showing and all of the words that you're using. Like, there's a better way to do that. You could have eliminated 75% of the video and the verbiage that you used. But I think going there, at least giving those that are trapped a sniff that, hey, we get it, is important.
And I would say that, I would add to that, Maurice, just kind of a reiteration of what I mentioned before too, is just
Yeah.
go go the distance that God tells you to go as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at something like Passion of the Christ. Uh, I mean, that's way past edgy for some Christians. They wouldn't even watch it. They can't even watch it. It's
Yeah.
They can't even imagine that it would go that far. And then for
Yeah.
other Christians, it's like, this is a beautiful film that illustrates as best as we can what Jesus went through. So and then there's everyone in between.
Yeah.
So what you
Yeah.
have to do as a filmmaker is just go the lengths that God tells you to go, and let that film land where it's supposed to land.
Amen. I love it. And well, Anthony Hackett, filmmaker, director, and actor on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. You're listening to Bog Radio in association with 24 Flicks. We're going to get out of here on this, Anthony. I know your time is limited, and I want to thank you once again for being on the show. It's always my joy and pleasure anytime you're on my platform. I want to ask you, and you kind of answered the question already, but there are young people out there that are just getting started with this stuff, period. And they need some advice, because this is all they want to do. This is all they want to do. But they're just out on this road. What advice would you leave with them?
Well, I was that person. Still am that person, but I was that person who I knew this is all that I'm supposed to do. This is it. There is no other job for me. Um, I'm supposed to act. I'm supposed to make films. I'm supposed to write, direct, produce. This is my realm. And what I would say to that person who is in those shoes is it's going to be the hardest thing in your life, and the majority of people won't go through with it. It's just way it takes a person that is so dedicated to God, that has so much trust, that they're willing to sacrifice so much just to do what God has called them to do. And I've had to sacrifice so much just to do what I'm supposed to do. There is no other job. I'm not working in anything else. This is it. And so it's hard. Not everybody is in position to do that. Not everyone's in position to not work and not because they got to put food on the table. They got their own lives, or they got a family, or they got whatever. And it's just not possible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're only going to go as far as you put in the work to do it. So if you're putting in half the work, well, then you're just going to get half that far. But if you're going to put in all the work, if you're going to put everything into it, everything, you will make it. You will make it. And and the timing of it, it's God's time. So you have to be willing to wait it out. And God, he's worth the wait. So that's what I would say, man. It is an encouragement. I don't want that to be a downtrodden thing at all. I want it to be an encouragement for people to go all in or don't go in, because you don't want to be lukewarm. You either want to be hot or cold in this. So go full force. If you want to get to that level, if you're just having fun with it, then it's fine. Have fun with it. But if you want to get to that level, you got to go all in.
So, Anthony Hackett on the Maurice Brown Show. And before we call this conversation a wrap, how can fans follow The Perfect Christmas on social media or by website, and Anthony Hackett as well?
I would first just say, make sure you remember the date, December 8th. Okay, this year in theaters nationwide. If you want to see, if you want to check your theaters to see a theater near you, you can go to the website, theperfectchristmasmovie.com. There you'll be able to very soon. It's not quite up yet, but very soon you'll be able to check, type in your zip code and check a local theater. If there is not a theater near you, just send us an email on your city and state and or your theater of choice, and we'll try to get the film there. But yeah, theperfectchristmasmovie.com. Stay updated there. Also our company website, sunsetfriday.com, SONSET.com. And I just want to shout out Maurice Brown, man, the Maurice Brown Show. This is my brother, man. I appreciate you always showing love. And it's fantastic working with you on Love Different. And I'm a fan of you too, man. I think you're funny. I think you're a man of God, and I appreciate everything that you're doing to help build the kingdom and help build this business of faith-based entertainment by giving us a platform on your platform. So much appreciation to you, man. I love you, man. I appreciate you.
I love you too, Anthony. I thank you so much again for being on the show. As I was telling you, man, if I could only get 5 minutes of your time, that's time well enough for me. Anthony Hackett on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. Go see his film, December 8th. The Perfect Christmas is going to be in theaters. You won't have any excuse to miss it, and you're going to thank me later once you go out and see it. Anthony Hackett on the Maurice Brown Show. Anthony, thank you so much. God bless you, man. Love you and your family. May the peace of Christ continue to be with you and your family, sir. God bless you.
Thank you.
Anthony Hackett on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. Had the opportunity to be with Anthony in Love Different in 2016. A great film, funny film. And as I say funny, the Maurice Brown Comedy Show is going on a tour next summer. The plans, at least, is that we're going to go on a tour, the Comedy in the Kingdom tour, with some of the funniest clean/Christian comedians you'll ever see in existence. And I got 20 or so involved comedians like Leland Clausen and Kason Wilson, Shanita Chocolate Morris, Felicia Fifi Frazier, Christy Condor, Kim Curley, Robert G. Lee, Gilbert Esquivel, Danny Successful Simmons, and more. The list goes. Joey Aiello, Donnie the Entertainer, Stopa. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And if you're an entrepreneur out there, if you're a Christian entrepreneur out there, and you want to see more clean, faith-based Christian entertainment, high quality Christian entertainment, hey, contact me at Maurice Brown Comedy Hour, the Maurice Brown Comedy Hour at gmail.com, or Maurice Brown LLC at gmail.com, or give me a call at 703-357-6675 if you'd like to sponsor, if you'd like to support, or if you just simply want to know more about the tour and what we're doing and what our mission statement is all about. Our mission statement is, in fact, to be a standing light for Christ in a dark world. And that's what our intentions are on this tour. Some of the comedians that are on this tour, one of which I mentioned before, is Kason Wilson. And I had a chance to talk. Kason will be on this show on Bog Radio at a date to be determined in the future, but you don't want to miss it. Every Monday through Friday from 9 to 10, you can listen to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on Bog Radio. And Kason Wilson is one of those comedians that you'll be able to actually get to know a lot better, as he is featured on one of my shows. But first thing I'm going to do now is just play a little snippet of one of Kason's routines about church isn't for men. He's absolutely hilarious. Check it out. Check that. That is actually Leland Clausen, who's also on the tour. And so you're going to love him as well. But Kason Wilson, Church Isn't for Men, is one of the funniest skits that you could possibly ever see. Here we go.
Black church is not built. Church is just not built for men sometimes. If you go to a good black church, it is not in our best interest to go sometimes. Because women, y'all the heroes of church. I don't know why, but y'all the heroes. Y'all get all the good relationship advice. Y'all the heroes. You ever hear a good relationship talk in church? The pastor give the church. I'm telling you right now, the men, we be the villains of the story every single time. Every single time it's time to get him out your life. Every single time. We don't get no advice. Listen to a good relationship sermon in church. It happens every single time. Ladies, don't you let no man. Oh, one note you should have. If you don't know what I'm doing with my voice, in the black community, this is called hooping. Hooping is when you give yourself voluntary asthma so the Holy Ghost can come through your throat. It's self-inflicted coronavirus for Jesus. It's when you decrease your air supply so he can increase. That's not doctor recommended, but a black preacher can do it with an organ for 3 hours straight. He said, ladies, don't you let no man treat you like you ain't no child of God. Oh, one more note. Anytime you see a black preacher roll their shoulders and lock them, you about to be in church for another 12 hours. It's like the longer they roll their shoulders, the longer you're going to be in church. I don't know how it works. It's 3 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Check your PTO hours, nigga. Good luck. He said, ladies, don't you let no man treat you like you ain't no child of God. The Bible says.
So that's Kason Wilson, who is a writer for The Problem. He's on the staff of Jon Stewart. The Problem with Jon Stewart, who's the former anchor of The Daily Show on the Comedy Channel, now has The Problem with Jon Stewart. And Kason is one of the staff writers for that show. And he's a part of the Comedy of the Kingdom tour. Very funny young man. He's based out of Los Angeles, California. We did comedy together on many occasions in Washington, D.C. And so he's going to be a part of this wonderful comedy tour that we're putting together. But as I mentioned before, we've got people like Leland Closet, who's also a part of it, and Robert G. Lee, who's also based out of Los Angeles. By the way, Leland is based out of Canada, and he's also going to be with us on the tour. But Leland also has a dry bar comedy special out there as well, which I highly recommend that you check out and watch it in its entirety. And I'm going to play a little bit of Leland Klassen for you. And he's talking about marriage. Check it out.
I'm married, been married for 22 years. And, yeah. Yeah, she's all right. I don't mind her. No major beefs. You see people, looks at people's faces. Why would he say that? That is hurtful. No, I've done some good things in those 22 years. Our love has changed, though. It has. You can't keep the puppy love forever, right? It used to be. I remember talking to my wife on the phone in the old days. It was the sappiest puppy lovey doggy thing. It was sickening. It was so sappy. It was like right before shows. It was like, I love you more. After you love me more, because I just said that I love you more. I don't think that's possible, because if you were listening, you would know that I just said that I love you more. Make myself sick sometimes. But it's changed now. It's grown. It's matured, right? I was talking to my wife on the phone before the show tonight, and you just tell it's different now. You know, it's like, okay, hon, I should probably get going. Yeah, I love you. Oh, I love you more. Remember those days when you see that all the time? Hello?
So that's a little bit of Leland Klassen from his Dry Bar comedy special, talking about marriage. Leland is also an actor. You can see him in the comedic film Sleeper Agent alongside Gigi Orsillo. Mark Christopher Lawrence is also in that film, who's also part of the tour. Matt Falk, also a stand-up comedian, also in that film, who happens to be from Canada. But that film is hilarious, and you can see it on Amazon Prime. And I believe also it is on PureFlix. Very funny film. I highly advise you to go out and check that out. You're listening, by the way, to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on Bog Radio in association with 24 Flicks, talking a little bit about the Comedy in the Kingdom tour that I'm going to bring to you next summer. We are in the process of putting this tour together. We're trying to nail down some venues as I speak to you this very moment. Again, if you are a Christian entrepreneur out there that is interested in sponsoring this tour or supporting this tour, at least interested in learning more information about this tour, contact me at mauricebrowncomedyhour@gmail.com or mauricebrownllc@gmail.com, or you can give me a call at 243. I'm sorry, not 243. I act like I'm in North Carolina. I'm not. I used to live in North Carolina, but I'm in Texas now. But even that doesn't matter because this is a Virginia number. But you can call me at 703-357-6675. Another member of the comedy tour is Robert G. Lee. Robert G. Lee is based out of also Los Angeles, California. And he has a Dry Bar comedy special as well. Robert has been also on the Maurice Brown comedy show, Breaking Down the Four Walls, on a few iterations of that show. But Robert did a Dry Bar comedy special. It was just around about the COVID time frame, but very funny. That is a show that is produced out in Provo, Utah. Very, very funny and clean program where you see some of the funniest comedians in the country. But I intend to bring you a tour of these types of comedians, Robert G. Lee being one of them. And we're going to listen to Robert G. Lee right now. As he's talking about, you need to, as a white man, you need to apologize for everything you didn't do, according to Robert G. Lee. And here he is.
So I'm a hypocrite, so I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Before I dive in, I just want to give you a couple disclaimers. I just want to apologize for my carbon footprint, income inequality, my white privilege, and just being a man in general. I've never groped anyone, but other men have, so shame on me. I'm sorry. Apparently, my demographic is responsible for every problem in the world today. So let me just take a moment to apologize for everything. I'm sorry for, thank you, the high cost of healthcare, for global warming, that AK-47s are legal, but in California, plastic straws are not. I'm sorry that you were all told you could be whatever you wanted to be when you grew up. How's that working out for you? The world is not filled with cowboys and ballerinas, and it is my fault. I'm sorry. Ladies, I just want to apologize for so much. The pain of childbirth, the fact that society pressures you into shaving and waxing everything, which I enjoy, so I'm a hypocrite, so I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. White men, I just want to say, time's up. You had a good run, but your dynasty has been supplanted by diversity. So sorry for that. And whatever has bothered you in the past or in the future, I will take blame for it. It is my fault, so we can all move on. Are we good? All right. There we go. This is my job. My 6th grade teacher told me I could never make a living as a smart aleck. So every year, I go back home, I call her up, I tell her how much I make, I laugh, I hang up. That's what I do. Bam! She's in a nursing home. She has no idea who I am. But it just feels good to do it. I used to do a lot of impressions in my act, but recently a good friend told me that everyone I do is dead. So to update my act, I'm going to do the voices of yesterday, singing the songs of today, which means the young people will not know the voices and the old people will not know the songs. This routine is for no one. Literally no one will get this routine. This is for nobody. I love James Mason, old character actor, North by Northwest, Lolita. James Mason sings Bruno Mars. For no one. Uptown funk you up. Uptown funk you up. Don't believe me, just watch. What? See, nobody. There you go. All right.
Robert G. Lee on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. And he will be a part of the Comedy in the Kingdom tour coming your way in the summer of 2024. Robert, thank you for clearing that up for us. We were a little bit confused about it all until you came by to make it plain and simple and understood. Thank you, Robert, and well done. Robert G. Lee, also Leland Clausen and Mark Christopher Lawrence, a part of the tour. Also, we've got some ladies too. You know, we've got Christy Condor, we've got Felicia Frazier, we've got Michelle Van Duzen, we've got Kim Curley, also a part of the tour. She's out of San Antonio, Texas. A very, very funny lady that will be a part of the tour as well. And we just want you guys to know that if you're interested out there and you want to, you know, support the tour, just give me a holler at Maurice Brown Comedy Hour at gmail.com. Earlier on the show today, we had Anthony Hackett, who is a filmmaker and director and producer of the film The Perfect Christmas, coming out to theaters December 8th. I had an opportunity to appear with a solid role in Love Different, a film that Anthony directed and acted in 2016. I play Mr. Harrington in that film. It's a great comedy. And as a stand-up comedian, I'm playing a serious role. But the movie is funny. But that being said, highly advise you check it out. You can get Love Different right now on Tubi. You could also get Love Different on PureFlix as well. He also has a film out called Hope Lives, which can also be seen on the Tubi platform, as well as other, ChristianCinema.com, and Tubi and PureFlix, Amazon Prime. That's the other platform that I was trying to remember. But again, back to the Comedy in the Kingdom tour that is coming your way next summer, and there are a lot of funny comedians involved with that. You're not going to want to miss them. Some of these comedians you can see on the Maurice Brown, or hear. This is radio, by the way. You can hear on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show Comedy in the Kingdom Tour edition right now. Kim Curley going to give you an idea of what her comedy is like, and this is her dry bar comedy special, and she is a part of the Comedy in the Kingdom Tour.
In marriage, this is another study that came out. I'm a counselor. I really am. And, I'm all about getting life right. I want to get life right. I want to be happy. I want these things. I want these things for everybody. And I have friends who tell me everything. I had a friend that just came to me and she says, oh my gosh, I just got engaged and it was the worst proposal ever. Her boyfriend, now fiance, because she said yes, brought in a bag, put it on the kitchen counter and said, there you go. Yeah. She took it out and it's a beautiful, beautiful engagement ring. It's gorgeous. So she looked at him and she said, will you at least ask me? And she handed him the ring. He took the ring, held it towards her, and he says, do you promise not to change? See, the guys are all thinking, well, that's pretty much what I was thinking. And I didn't say it. Men don't want us to change, but the truth is, ladies, we change every 5 minutes. We're a different person. That's the way we are. It's great. It's fun. Go with the flow. And you know what the other truth is that the one thing women want in their man is for them to change. But men don't change. They stay the same. You're not going to change them. How many times did your mother tell you that, ladies? You're not going to change them because she tried. The words of wisdom. There are men here tonight still wearing clothes from junior high. Come on, you know that's true. I go in my husband's closet and I take stuff out and he doesn't even know I got rid of it for months. He doesn't even know. But it had to go. Hey, where'd that yellow shirt go? Got it in high school. Where is it? It's my favorite. I don't know. I don't know where it is. They say that it takes 26 years into the marriage before you finally feel true joy, true love, and true contentment. 26 years. Yeah, swallow that one, people, huh? I had to. I'm newlywed, 57. I'm never going to feel love, joy, and contentment. If I do, it's going to be on my deathbed, isn't it? I love you so much. I'm taking that with me to heaven. We're so different. You know, the menopausal brain for a female, we become more logical after it's all done. Our corpus callosum gets a little burned up. We're done with all that. Our superhighway kind of goes away. We were more like men. We become more like men. We're not very nice, pretty much for the most part. And men, their testosterone levels decrease as you get older, and you get nicer. I think there's a Benjamin Button moment that happens sometime in a relationship. We are kind of sitting across from each other. It's like, you finally wow, this is a great moment. And then it's over. It's done. You know what happens. You go to the store, go to Walmart, watch the old men and old women. Old man's wanting to talk to the children. Hey, you could hear some cake. And the woman's going, stop it. You're making a fool out of yourself.
Kim Curley on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show. Kim Curley, comedian out of San Antonio, Texas. That's her dry bar comedy special. And she's a part of the Comedy of the Kingdom Tour. And she's right. That's what happens as we get older. I mean, us guys, I'm 59. A kid could break, my window. He's playing, whatever he's playing outside with all of his friends. And I stick my head out of my broken window and I go, hey, you guys want to go get a Slurpee? She's telling the truth. We just change. You're listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on Bog Radio in association with 24 Flicks. Earlier, we were talking with filmmaker Anthony Hackett, talking about his film, The Perfect Christmas, which will be in theaters on December 8th. I highly advise you to go out and check out this film. It's going to be tremendous. It involves Cameron Arnett, who's a friend of mine, an acting friend of mine, Gigi Arcillo as well, and Robert Amaya from the film Courageous. We're going to continue giving you an idea of some of the comics that are associated with the Comedy in the Kingdom tour. Next up, my good buddy, Mark Christopher Lawrence.
Time down south, and I'm going to tell you folks, the South is alive and backwards. I was in Missouri. Missouri is pawning themselves off as being Midwest. It's the South. They had me fooled, though. They flew me into Kansas City. Now, Kansas City is a metropolis. Lots of nightlife, arts and culture, great restaurants, a lot of fine people, just like we have here in Provo tonight. But they picked me up at the airport, drove me 2.5 hours into the woods. There was black people there, didn't even know they were free. This is the South right here. They were going, don't you tell no jokes about massa. Come on out of there, Kunta, you're free. I was in a small little town in Missouri, Sedalia, Missouri, 3 teeth in the whole town. The mayor had him on his bracelet. First night on stage, I said, where's all the black folks at? Somebody said, on stage. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I said, I'm glad to be here in Missouri. Somebody said, we say Missouri. I said, you say it wrong. Apparently not as smart as your friends over in Mississippi. Because that bookmobile doesn't get to Missouri that often. Suffice it to say that Missouri is home of the big girl. They fancy the biscuits. I realize that there's someone for everybody, and I'll tell you guys, if you are a chubby chaser, if you like them fluffy, Missouri might be the spot for you. You can get a sack of biscuits and hang out at the park. They'll follow you to your car like pigeons. I realized I'm a big guy. I was a little guy in Missouri. People were coming up to me going, how you doing, little man? Pretty good, ma'am. Nice tooth. I ate terribly in Missouri. Everything was fried. You ever go somewhere to eat, no matter what you order, they put something fried on your plate, whether you ordered or not? Fried pickles, fried tomatoes, fried bread. I ate so much grease in Missouri. Now I drink a glass of water, it beads up in my throat. I did find one thing fried that I loved. Fried candy bars. Somebody took a candy bar, wrapped that in cinnamon roll dough, and then chucked it in the fryer. Who was I to say no? Because after about that 4th or 5th one, my heart started double clutching up. I'm down on one knee at the fair, sweating butter. People are coming up, not even trying to help me. They're dabbing their biscuits on my forehead. There's a butter fountain over here.
Mark Christopher Lawrence saw the Maurice Brown Comedy Show doing his Dry Bar comedy special out in Provo, Utah. He is also a part of the Comedy in the Kingdom tour. And just want to give you a little sneak peek of some of the comedians involved. There are many more, like Gilbert Esquivel and Danny Successful Simmons and more. But again, if you are a Christian entrepreneur and you find this a very interesting venture that you would like to sponsor or support or just learn more about, contact me at Maurice Brown Comedy Hour at gmail.com, Maurice Brown LLC at gmail.com, or 703-357-6675. You have been listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on Bog Radio in association with 24 Flicks every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. You can listen to the show. You can also listen to the show on Spotify, where all major podcasts are heard. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, Radiocast, and the list goes on and on. So until the next time, everybody, stay safe, and may the peace of Christ be with you and your families, everybody. God bless.